Well, tell us what the heat indexes are there routinely in West Tennessee and sort of northern Mississippi.
Last week, I would say, we were routinely over 105. One day we were 117. This is relatively cool summer, but those have been the hot spells, and those are usually the norm. Like our actual temperatures will be, 70s at night and 90s in the day. And it's very humid. And so the heat indexes will, chronically be over 100 and frequently higher.
So what does that do? No, me first, you hush.
You first, yeah.
Okay. What does that do to plants in a very general botanical sense? Like, do they stop photosynthesizing? Do they stop transpiring?
Yeah.
And I know each one is probably different, but what happens scientifically?
Well, they just have to shut down. I mean, they can't really do anything. I always remember when I first started working with UT, our plant pathologist saying plants are more like people than we realize. Like if it's a day that you're suffering and you shouldn't be out there, the plants are feeling the same way, only they can't escape. So they shut down. They just do what they can to survive. And I want to relate that to a common problem, and y'all stop me if you've covered this so much, but this idea that people feel like they have to water a plant if it's wilted, and they overwater.
We haven't talked about that a lot. And I know that that's a thing because plants can look sad, and that's the conclusion that you jump to, and that is the wrong one, right?
Number one killer in my 30-year career as an extension horticulture specialist of hydrangeas was overwatering, because a hydrangea leaf is going to wilt in the middle of the day. It does not matter how wet the soil is. And what's the worst thing you can do for a hydrangea is overwater that sucker. So I always tell them, you wilt in the middle of the day. You can't assume that's what's the problem. If it's wilted in the cool of the evening, if it's wilted in the morning, definitely it needs a drink. And the other thing that's so crazy, of course, is they think they're going to hurt it by watering in the middle of the day. Like somehow a thunderstorm in the middle of the afternoon is devastating to all the plants out there. I mean, how crazy do you have to be to not realize it happens in nature all the time? It helps cool the plants. They spritz golf course greens during the day, spritzing just enough coolness, just like if you're at Disney World and you get hot, you need to stand in front of some moisture, blows on you, cools you off. And of course, you don't want the greens to wilt because it'll change the direction of the ball. So what they do is just give enough moisture to cool it, and you can do that to your plants. But people think, oh no, you get water on the leaves and you can't water in the middle of the day. And I'm like, oh no, here comes a thunderstorm at 2 p.m. Please go away. Don't think so.
I think some of that had to do, and I'm come from California, Carol, originally, and a lot of that had to do with water conservation and evaporation. Like if you were going to water your plants and make the most use of the water, then do it in the early morning or the evening so that you weren't going to lose it.
You come from a much smarter part of the world. That is not true here in the South. Here in the South, they believe that the water droplets on the leaf act like magnifying glasses and burn holes in the leaves.
Well, it could be an easy thing to start to think if it's not immediately slapped out of your head.
Whenever it needs it and whenever you can, and sometimes in the middle of the day to give it a good spritz, a cooling spritz. When I am out there watering, a lot of times I'll just sprinkle the whole area up into the taller trees and Japanese maples or whatever, just to have a cooling effect. And the hummingbirds are ever so grateful. Everybody's like, oh, thank you. We're getting a break from the miserable heat. I could see another reason they might think that is sometimes you get shot hole fungus, and that can be enhanced by water on the leaves. So if it burned out a hole and there had been drops on the leaves, which happens a lot, of course, in the prunus, then you might think that the water droplet burned it out.